In this video, we will discuss about solving problems in mechanics. How to solve problems, or what are the steps you should follow to solve the problems in mechanics. To solve typical problems in mechanics, we should use the following steps. First step, draw a diagram showing schematically, that is a simple drawing. You first draw a simple drawing of the various parts of the assembly of the bodies, and you should draw the links joining the various parts, and number 3, supports between the links. Suppose this is the problem and you draw the schematic diagram of this problem. The problem is a 20 kg mass or 20 kg wheel is on the surface, and on the other part of the system you have a weight of mass basically 3 kg, and they are attached by means of a string, and the string is supported by a pulley. So all these problem you should show by means of a schematic diagram or simple diagram. So these are the various parts of the assembly of bodies. This is one part, this is another part, and these are the links joining various parts. Links means this is the string is the link, and support between the links. The support between the links is this pulley system, and here this is also a support, this is a support. So you should show the supports between the links. So these things must be in the schematic diagram. This is the first step. And in the second step, you choose a convenient part of the assembly of the system. The whole is the assembly, and system means any chosen part of the assembly. Suppose, as you see in the diagram, whole is the whole is the assembly, and suppose this part is the system, and this part is also the system. So you choose any system, then rest of the system is called your environment. Environment means remaining part of the assembly plus any other agencies of force. The remaining part of the assembly means, suppose this is the ground, so ground is the remaining part of the assembly, and any other agencies of force means, suppose here you have gravitational force, okay, and here you have frictional force between the two surfaces. Here you have frictional force. So here frictional force, gravitational force, these you can say the environment. So in environment, you think about the remaining part of the assembly. Out of the assembly, what you have, this is the environment plus any other agencies of force like gravitational force, frictional force, etc. Then in the third step, you draw a free body diagram. Your free body diagram means a separate diagram which shows the system. The free body diagram basically shows the system and all the forces on the system by remaining part of the assembly, and forces on the system by other agencies. In the free body diagram, you should write this thing. A free body diagram is a separate diagram which shows the system and all the forces on the system by the remaining part of the assembly. And in the free body diagram, you must have forces on the system by other agencies. You see, this is the free body diagram of the weight 3 kg weight. So here you this is a separate diagram which shows the system, this shows the system, that means the weight and all the forces on the system by the remaining part of the assembly. So all the forces for this system is, that is the tension and the gravitational force, that is the weight due to the 3 kg mass, which you say that the forces on the system by other agencies. Here the gravitational force is the other agency, and do not include the forces on the environment by the system. This is very important. You should remember that while drawing in the free body diagram, you do not include the forces on the environment by the system. And another thing in free body diagram, you should know, the system under consideration may have with a net force or may not have with a net force. Suppose this is in equilibrium, it is not with a net force. Suppose it is moving downward with some acceleration, that means this system with having a net force. Similarly, this is the free body diagram of the 20 kg mass. Here you have the 20 kg mass as the system, and all the forces on the system by the remaining part of the assembly are the frictional force and the tension. So the forces on the system by other agencies is the frictional force. And here you have not included the forces on the environment by the system. It is completely detached. You think that it is completely detached from the environment. That means this system is not putting any force on the environment. Next point, in a free body diagram, you should write the magnitude and direction of the force. That means here the magnitude of this force, suppose T equal to, it is given some value, that is 3 Newton or 5 Newton. So you should write the magnitude of the force and the direction, whether the direction of the force this side or upward or downward. So you should write the magnitude and direction of the force. And the next step, the unknowns are determined using laws of motion. You should apply laws of motion, Newton's laws of motion, to find out the unknown value in the free body diagram. If necessary, you follow the same procedure for other choice of the system. If you have 2 or 3 or more number of system, you follow the same procedure. Suppose you have two free body diagrams. There are two free body diagrams, A and B, and suppose F is the force on A due to B and minus F is the force on B due to A, using Newton's third law. You should use Newton's third law to write that minus F is the force on B due to A. The practice of drawing free body diagram is a great help in solving problems in mechanics. A number of exercises will help you to cultivate this practice. Let us work out this problem. A wooden block of mass 2 kg rests on a soft horizontal floor. Suppose this is a soft horizontal floor and the wooden box of mass 2 kg is rest on it. When an iron cylinder of mass 25 kg is placed on the top of the block, the floor yields steadily. As you see in this diagram, this is the iron cylinder whose mass is 25 kg. When this iron cylinder is put on the top of the block of mass 2 kg, the soft horizontal floor, as you see, it comes down. You see, initially it was here, then after putting the iron cylinder, it comes to this position. And the question is, and it is given that the block and the cylinder, the system block and the cylinder, they together go down with an acceleration of 0.1 meter per second square. And the question is, what is the action of the block on the floor yields? What is the action of the block? That is, in this figure you can see what is the action of this block of mass 2 kg on the floor. And the next question is, what is the action of the block on the floor after the floor yields? Here, what will be the action of the block on the floor after the floor yields or coming down with some acceleration, that is 0.1 meter per second square. So this is the free body diagram for the case A, where suppose this is the free body diagram and this is the 20 Newton force in this direction and the reaction, normal reaction in the upward direction. So using Newton's third law, force on the floor by the block 20 Newton by the block, this will be equal to 20 Newton. If you apply Newton's third law, the floor the force on the floor by this floor will be equal to 20 Newton. That is, the floor exert a reaction force on this block that is equal to 20 Newton, because by applying Newton's third law, you may write R equal to 20 Newton. And if you draw the free body diagram for the case B, you see this is the free body diagram for the case B. Here the total downward force is equal to 270 Newton, because the total mass of the system is equal to 25 kg plus 2 kg, it is 27 kg. So 27 into 10, that is equal to 270 Newton, and the normal reaction here will be equal to R dash. Here the normal reaction is R, but here the normal reaction is R dash, because the system is not at rest, it is accelerating with 0.1 meter per second square. So it is coming down, the floor is coming down. So you apply Newton's second law, that means 270 Newton minus R dash is equal to MA. So that will be equal to 27 into 0.1 Newton. So for the case B, if you apply Newton's second law, that will be equal to 270 Newton minus R dash, that is equal to 27 into 0.1 Newton. So R dash will be equal to 270 minus 2.7, that is equal to 267.3 Newton. So here you see force on the floor by the block and cylinder, this is equal to 267.3 Newton. So for the case A, the force of gravity due to the earth, that is equal to 270 Newton, that is the force on the earth by the block and cylinder system, that is equal to 270 Newton. But in case of B, the force on the block by the cylinder and the force on the cylinder by the block also constitute action-reaction pair. Sorry, this is for the case B, not for the case A. That is, for the case B, force on the floor by the block and cylinder, that is equal to 267.3 Newton, but the force of gravity due to the earth, that is equal to 270 Newton. Force of gravity due to the earth means the force on the earth by the block and cylinder, that is equal to 270 Newton, but the force on the floor by the block and cylinder is 267.3 Newton. Mark the difference. And you have also the force on the block by the cylinder and the force on the cylinder by the block also constitute action and reaction pairs.